All right, y'all, back to work. Boy, pretty darn good day today. Last night's game plan worked pretty well this morning. Hope you guys made a bunch of money out there. Now, for tomorrow, we have a V-bottom on our charts right now. V-bottoms tell us exactly where the money is made tomorrow. But more importantly, though, we have Nvidia earnings tomorrow night. That will be a curveball. But in my experience, though, there's one type of trade setup that always works best before big earnings like we have Nvidia tomorrow night. So we'll cover the V-bottom game plan. That's pretty easy. And we'll kick it up a few more notches and cover that strategy leading up to Nvidia earnings tomorrow night. By the time we're done tonight's video, you'll all have a game plan to make some money tomorrow as well. So enough of the intro, enough chit chat. Let's roll those sleeves up and go make some money on what should be a fantastic day on Wednesday morning. S&P SPY ready to go tonight. Nasdaq triple Qs are always ready. I have 4 clues on these charts telling me where I think the money is made tomorrow. The first of 4 clues is right here on the higher time frame. We are bullish into a range and we are rotating off the low of that range on the S&P SPY. Nasdaq triple Qs, very similar. Bullish into a range. We are rotating off the low of that trading range. Remember, guys, we use the hourly time frame for the overall directional filter. It's pretty obvious to me right now. The buyers are in full control of momentum. That's clue number 1. Clue number 2 is on the schedule for tomorrow. I mentioned this earlier. We have big earnings tomorrow night after the close. Everyone knows Nvidia's name, and everyone's waiting to see, will the demand for AI infrastructure, will that continue? If Nvidia's doing well, everybody else is doing pretty well right now in the market. So that's a big deal for tomorrow. There's no major news in the morning. All eyes tomorrow on Nvidia. And again, that will tell us this one type of strategy, one type of trade I'm be looking for tomorrow. We'll cover that a bit later on in this video. Let's get back to our charts though, because it's good to know when the news is, but the money is made on the charts. And let's now drill down, because I have 2 more important clues here on some faster time frames, some tick charts. Remember, tick charts make entry timing a whole lot easier. And if you're watching for the first time right now, welcome to the channel. All the time frames, upper left-hand corner, that is a 7,000 tick chart. And that moving average, we don't need to overcomplicate this stuff. All we need is the 21 EMA. There's 2 more important clues here right now on these tick charts right now. The first clue is that V bottom. We run down and pretty much just bounce up off of that low and make that V bottom. Now, V bottoms, very important. Write this down. Anytime we see a V bottom, underneath prior swings are always where? Well, not always, right? Nothing's guaranteed ever, right? But most of the time, whenever we see a V bottom, I want to get in under swings, under swings, under swings. Very important clue. One of the most reliable parts about V bottoms, get in underneath prior swings. The final clue, one of my favorite clues here, is a range breakout. That was a trading range. And remind me again, guys, what happens after a range breakout? We talked about this last night, right? We love breakout pullbacks. So put that all together right now, and it's very easy to see right now. We get a prior swing, a breakout pullback zone. Now, I have a couple different ways I want to trade that breakout pullback, that V bottom setup for tomorrow. But remember, we have Nvidia earnings tomorrow night. So later on in this video on the Nasdaq, we'll talk about what is a bit more advanced strategy. But I'll tell you though, if we hit that right tomorrow, it can make our entire week. So first things first here, getting in under prior swings. Now, you know me, right? I'm not going to blindly buy down here, right? Because I don't know which one of these swings we're going to hold off of. My goal for tomorrow though is we're going to wait for that nice pullback off that high, get below a prior swing, and then look for a bear trap, right? Just like we saw today. We run lower, the bears try once, the bears try twice, and we simply trap them in and squeeze those stops. Wait for that pullback. Don't blindly buy low. Let those bears commit once, higher high, twice. Once I have them committed, now I know where their pain is. Now I know where stops get run. And remember, on these bear traps, the market wants to go back up and take out that high. So as we make our way higher now, look for some separation off the 21 EMA, a higher high in price, and look for a way to add to that winner. Once you learn how to add to your winning trades, it's one of the easiest ways to double your profits each day. So in our trade room, we call this a bear trap and an add-on. Get below a prior swing, ideally around that breakout pullback zone, trap those bears in, squeeze those stops, add to that winner, targets come off on a retest of that high. Now here's a question though. Sometimes we don't get that bear trap down there. For example, every once in a while, we'll make that deep pullback, get under prior swings, and there's so many buyers down here, it just snaps and runs back higher. Remember, if we bounce hard off of that low, I have to make a very small adjustment. I no longer now want to buy above that high because if it bounces hard, it will kill my risk reward ratio. The way you fix that problem is you start to focus on buying underneath that prior swing. Because now, as those bears try once, try twice, now I can get a much better risk reward ratio. Does that make sense, right? Again, the goal would be run it lower, nice easy bear trap back up again, but if they bounce hard off that low, I now need to offset that risk reward ratio by getting in underneath a prior swing. One try, two try, in under that prior swing. The entry signal is that strong green candle closing back above the moving average, just like I teach in our free video classes. Now, one more variation of this, and again, we'll talk about that game plan for the Nvidia earnings here in just a few moments. One more variation of this. One of my favorite trades we get in our trade room is a retest trade. For example, a lot of times we'll get under that prior swing, we'll get a beautiful bear trap and nail that bear trap. But instead of going all the way back to retest the high, every once in a while what happens is it'll run up and make another leg going lower. This might be the most important thing you learn in tonight's video. Remember this, we do not use the tick charts for direction. The hourly chart is for direction. So if this thing rolls over on us and makes another leg going lower, this is not a reversal. It's gonna feel like a reversal, but remember, tick charts are for entries. The hourly chart is for direction, and right now, it takes a lot more than a small pullback on the hourly to call this a bear market. So remember, we oftentimes will see that move below a prior swing. We'll get that bear trap, and of course, like I teach in the free video classes, we take our 1-to-1 first target, remove that stop up to point of entry. It's a winning trade, but oftentimes we'll hold the underbelly of one of those legs, and we'll see another leg running lower. Again, this is not a reversal. This is a retest trade. Retest trades are some of our biggest winners in our trade room. Once they run lower and get below that low, this is a horrible spot to be selling, but it will feel like a good spot to sell for all the inexperienced rookies. Trap those rookies in, bears once, bears twice, squeeze those stops with a bear trap, and then again, the market wants to go back up and take out that big high. So as we start to run higher here, add to that winner, get that separation off that moving average, that higher high in price. A lot of examples of these inside the free course. Retest trade, bear trap, add on, back up to retest that high. Now, I want to talk about the game plan for Nvidia. Before we do that though, let's pit stop for a second because I know most of you guys watching right now, you guys know these patterns. You're making money with these already. But if you're here for the first time right now, watching for the first time, this might be a brand new strategy for you. Don't you worry though. I teach all of these entry tactics in my free video course. In fact, I have a ton of examples of bear traps, add-ons, retest trades. Guys, the markets are way too good right now not to be making consistent profits. What I'll do is I'll put a link up top here for you, upper right-hand corner, hit that link that popped up there and take that free trading course, because the strategy I teach in that short video series will teach you a simple trick we use in our members trade room that literally tells me exactly where to find the winning trades each day. More importantly though, let's face it, we make our money by timing good entries. So in that video course, I'm going to teach you my 4 favorite entry setups so you can time better entries, get your confidence back, get your P&L back in the green again. Guys, if you're still missing the best entries right now, if you've lost your confidence in your indicators, in your strategy, what are you waiting for? Hit that link that popped up there. Take that free trading course. Everyone loves all the trade examples I include in that short video series. The best part is it's completely free for you. Also be aware too, guys, I'm going to drop all the important links you'll need to learn the entire roadmap below this video in the description of this YouTube video. Start first on that free trading course, because most folks start making money all on their own, all from that free video series. Then don't forget, we trade together every morning, 8 o'clock Eastern time, in our members trade room. I'll put that link below. And if you're on Twitter or the X platform as they call it these days, if you're on X, I post a ton of videos and charts and mindset stuff in between these YouTube videos. If you're on the X platform, you're going to love that feed. Give me a follow. Again, all the details you'll need are linked below this video tonight in the description of that YouTube video. That's where you want to go to learn more about the entries I'm talking about here tonight. Now, where we leave off here, yes, we talked about getting in underneath prior swings, under prior swings, trapping bears in and squeezing back up again. We talked about V bottoms. We talked about the retest. Do not let those retests, do not let those fool you. They fooled me for years. That's my favorite trades in our trade room. Now, I want to go to the Nasdaq here next and talk about the game plan ahead of Nvidia for tomorrow. But 2 more questions for you. 2 more questions. I promise we'll keep it short here. 2 questions here. First of all, what if we don't get a deep pullback right now? I mean, we're running into overhead resistance right now. A lot of resistance here up overhead. What if we don't get a deep pullback below a prior swing right now? If we don't get a deep pullback, risk reward ratio is the big problem, right? If all we see is a shallow pullback right now and we don't get in below prior swings, I'm going to make a small adjustment and look for what I call a technical bear trap in our free video course. It's very simple. It's bears try once, it's higher high, it's bears try twice. This is the same basic entry tactic I mentioned earlier on the V bottom, right? If it runs lower and pops up strong, it's the same basic idea. As you'll learn in the free video classes, whenever I'm buying relatively high, whether that's because of a shallow pullback or because of a big strong bounce off a deep pullback, I want to buy as low as I can. And to do that, I'm always looking for that same pattern, right? It's a higher high in price and go in right below that low. There's a bunch of examples of these in the Nasdaq. We'll take a look at that in a moment. So shallow pullback, buy those technical bear traps like I teach in the free video course. And one last thing I promise, if we keep going higher here, the higher we go, the less desirable this market becomes to buy whenever we make a big move. Because if we keep going higher here overnight, tomorrow morning, if we keep going higher here, we don't want to buy high. Whenever we see a big move higher, we always start looking for what's called a 2-legged pullback. You know, markets they do kind of funny things before a big news event like the Nvidia report tomorrow night. So if we do keep grinding higher and we don't get that pullback we want, I'm looking for now a 2-legged pullback. Now, a 2-legged pullback is just like it sounds, but the trick to a 2-legged pullback is to find a measured move. Okay, so now the scenario is we keep grinding up overnight, right up into all-time highs. I don't want to buy shallow pullbacks there. I want to buy a 2-legged pullback. Think about a measured move, Okay, A, B, C, D. And between you and me, the best two-legged pullbacks, the best ones, are the ones that go a little bit more than a measured move. Those are always the best ones, right? Find a measured move, A, B, C, D. The best ones go a bit more than that measured move. Keep that in mind, right? If it goes through the measured move, that's even better, all right? It's not a problem. It's a benefit. It's a plus, okay? So a bit more than a measured move here. And again, you can try to pick bottoms all you want. I'm not in the business of picking tops and bottoms because it may keep on going, right? I don't have a crystal ball on that for tomorrow. What I do know though is in a bull market on a deep pullback like that, this will feel very bearish. It will feel like a reversal. And rookies who use the same time frame for direction, they get caught on this. Do not make that mistake, right? Do not confuse the tick charts for the hourly time frame. Trap those bears in again. One, twice. Remember, always a higher high. You want to trap in as many sellers as possible because the more bears getting short, then we know where their stops are. And if you're caught short, you get stopped out, you're buying your way out of that position. And I'll tell you right now, these deep two-legged pullbacks almost always give us that bear trap and that add-on combination. The add-on is we take a small winner and turn it into a big winner that grows your account nice and quickly there. So two-legged pullback, if we do keep going higher here, that's my adjustment for tomorrow. Two-legged pullback, bear trap, add-on, and back up to retest the high. A pretty simple game plan. Again, V bottoms are very, very simple. Get in below prior swings, and I love the idea of that breakout pullback. Okay, enough chit chat here on the V bottom. I want to talk about Nvidia earnings for tomorrow here over on the Nasdaq. Now, the Nasdaq is quite similar right now to the S&P, right? It's a bull move up into a range. And believe me, you will learn to love ranges when you go through that free video course I mentioned earlier, because ranges, what do? They love to rotate, right? Look at that breakout pullback here on the Nasdaq right now. Bullish range, rotated into a breakout pullback. Ranges love to break out pullback. New trading range there, bullish, and we're rotating here off of that low. Bulls have control of direction. Remember, don't confuse it. The hourly chart, it's just used for our directional filter. That's all it's used for. Now, before I talk tick charts here, if you're enjoying this video tonight, please help me grow this channel by hitting that like button and make sure you subscribe, will ya? I know we're all busy people these days, and it's back to school right now for the kids here. I appreciate you all tuning in and watching my videos here tonight. So as always, thank you so much for all the likes, all the subs, all the ongoing support. I definitely feel the love in the comment section. I love seeing you guys and gals make money here in the wake of these videos. But enough chit chat though. Let's dive in though and go out and talk about the tick charts here. Slightly different tick chart, right? 4,000 tick chart there on the Nasdaq, same 21 EMA here right now. What do you see on this Nasdaq? One, I see a V bottom. Running lower, no retest, right? It's a V bottom. And look what the Nasdaq got after today, right? Bear traps, below prior swings, below prior swings. This is why I said earlier, when you see a V bottom, this is almost always where the money is made, right? It's the higher high in price. That can swing lows. It's always, again, there's nothing's ever perfect, right? But in V bottom scenarios, it's almost always going to be below a prior swing. So right now, prior swing right there, prior swing right there, right? Okay, now range, pretty obvious range right there. What do ranges do? They like to break out and they like to pull back. So I like the idea of the breakout pullback for tomorrow. It's very similar to the exact game plan we said earlier on the S&P, right? Get that pull back, trap those bears in, squeeze back up again, and the same basic idea of the V bottom. If it pops up too strong, get in below prior swings. If it retests, again, do not let those retest trades fool you. They did for a while for me, but now you know better, right? I didn't have a mentor to help me through that stuff when I was learning this, right? You know better now, right? Do not let that retest trade, do not let it fool you. It's not a reversal. It's a gift, is what it is, from the trading gods for the buyers here. Okay, enough delay here right now. let's talk about that game plan before Nvidia. Whenever we have big news events, we have to be ready for consolidation, right? Ranges will show up the following day. Everyone's waiting for this big announcement tomorrow. So what almost always happens is we almost always will see some sort of range develop up in this area. Now remind me again, what do ranges do? Ranges love to rotate, right? They rotate down, up, and we use symmetry, okay? The amount below the range, the amount above the range, the same way we figured out where that market was going in last night's video, right? We found that range in last night's video. It wasn't perfect, but we don't need perfect to make profit, right? The goal was, if you watched last night's video, that was a trading range, right? It went up and it rotated all the way back down. Again, not perfect, but it doesn't need to be perfect, right? But that's what told us, though, that trading range is what told us to expect that bull trap that we talked about in last night's video. So let's unpack this right now, because I'm telling you right now, if you're not prepared for this, you'll get caught on the wrong side of this market. There's two basic principles I want you to learn and be aware of for tomorrow. The first one is a concept of stacked ranges. So first of all, there's a range down there. And we know that previous ranges, they love to what? They love to break out pullback. So it makes perfect sense now, right? If I can get a range up here tomorrow, anywhere, this may not be exactly where the range is, maybe a bit higher there. Be aware of that tomorrow, right? But again, wait for a breakout below it. Look for, and remember, my strategy is I'm not going to blindly buy this. I would much rather wait patiently and wait for these bears to get trapped in, because then I'll use their stops to fuel that move. Now, remind me again now, where does that range want to go? Where does the price want to go now? It wants to rotate, right? So as it's running higher, look for those add-on trades. And I'll tell you right now, if there's one scenario where you have to have the guts to add to your winner, it's always going to be a range rotation. Range rotations are where you can get a lot more aggressive, right? A lot more aggressive because, again, you know now this thing wants to rotate with symmetry, right? It wants to finish off symmetry, below the low, above that high. This is why range markets are my favorite. Because once you find that range, then it's the matter of find that bear trap below low, add to your winner as it rotates, and you know where it wants to go. So it's so much easier, at least for me it is personally, it's so much easier to leave a runner because you know exactly now, within reason obviously, where this market now wants to go, okay? Now remember, this knife cuts both ways. So for example, if we saw, for example, here tomorrow, if we went into a trading range tomorrow somewhere and we see this thing go higher here, see, this is where things get a bit confusing for people, right? Because remember, we're way high up already. There's big time resistance up overhead on a breakout pullback zone from late last week. So if we go sideways into a range, and I should also mention too, this also applies to the S&P as well. Everything we talk about in these videos can be kind of interchangeable between the Nasdaq and the S&P. If we go higher here first, beware of the fake out breakout. Oftentimes what happens is this will be a bull trap up here. Now, how do we short something like this? It's a crown reversal pattern. We talked about this last night on the video. It's buyers once, it's lower low, it's buyers twice. The most important thing on a short off the high is we must get in above prior swings. It is the most important factor on a trade going against the higher time frame direction. We're bullish overall on the hourly. Buyers once, buyers twice. Look closely at this trade setup. It's a lower low in price and move just above that high. Strong red candle, closing back below that 21 EMA. A lot of examples of these inside the free video course. And again, as always, whenever I go against the trend, it's a half size position. It's a quarter size position, right? For some folks, newer traders, it's probably a demo trade, right? Not a live trade, because these are not going to be as reliable. I'm warning you right now. So go smaller size. Well, I will be going smaller size tomorrow. You can do whatever you want to do with it. I'll mark the high, mark that low. That creates now our final target. So crown reversal off the high. And the bottom line is, it may not be pretty like that. Oftentimes it'll run up, get whacked back down. And the key is just to keep on shorting above that prior swing. So it may come in different shapes, it may come in different variations of that. But the key is always to sell above that prior high during that rotation going lower there. Now, once again, as it rotates off that high right now, this is going to test your emotions. It's going to feel very bearish because ranges, they rotate very hard, right? They do. They rotate really hard. When ranges rotate, they really rip. But just as we saw last night, right? Overnight last night, we are not going to fall for that move going lower here. So as it rotates off the high right here, this will feel like a reversal, but you know better now, right? You know better now. It's a range rotation. It's not a reversal. So once we start seeing all the rookies pile in here right now and they start chasing after it, we're going to trap them in, use those stops to fuel that move higher. And all we do here is keep on trading that rotation. Trap them in, bear trap, run it back up again, all the way back other side of that range. Ranges love to rotate, right? So buy below it, sell above it, trade that rotation, add to your winners. Boy, I'll tell you, I'm getting excited. I'm getting goosebumps right now just talking about this stuff right now. I love to talk my way through this stuff on these videos because this is the same roadmap I'll be watching for tomorrow morning in our trade room at 8 o'clock Eastern time. But that's my game plan for tomorrow. Now, speaking of the trade room, the place to be, 8 o'clock Eastern time, every morning for the opening bell is in our trade room with all the SOT members. Guys, the easiest way, start making money in these markets to come out and learn and trade along every morning at the opening bell. Once again, I'll put all the important links you need to learn the roadmap. Dive into that free video course. You're going to love that free video class. Lots of trade examples there to master the entry tactics I'm talking about here tonight. You're going to love the trade examples there. Then come join me in my trade room and we'll do it all together. In the meantime, guys, hope you earned a bunch today. Hope you crush this tomorrow as well. Be well out there. Be nice to each other, will ya? And by all means, you better be here next time. Adios, amigos. Bye for now.